Welcome everybody to Big J's World, where we talk about everything and anything. Today we have Mr. TM Ford. So if you want to introduce yourself, what's coming down the line, under your author, you already have 2 books out.
Yeah, for sure. So my name's TM Ford. Real name's Trevor. TM, which is what I wanted to go by as like pen name wise. I've been adopted on Book Talk as Tom. It's a miscommunication with my name, but we've rolled with it and it's kind of stuck. So I'm 33 years old. I live in Middle Tennessee. All the fun stuff. But yeah, just an author by night and IT by day. So there's not too much more to add there.
So where did Tom come from? Like who's called you Tom?
So that's Jen on TikTok. It's Jen Book Talk, I think. I think you had a podcast with her already.
Yeah.
So I joined her live one night and just said hello, introduced myself. And she's like, "Oh, hey, TM." And she called me TM for the next few times I went in there.
Yeah.
And then finally, out of nowhere, like I think it was after I sent her my book, she's like, "Oh, so I'm just going to start calling you Tom, so I call you by your real name." And I'm like, "Okay, sure, LOL." And like she didn't get the sarcasm in the chat, so Tom kind of stuck. And finally, I was like, "So just so you know, my name's Trevor." And everybody's like, "No, it's not. It's Tom. Like we're not going to Trevor. It's Tom." So I've just kind of rolled with it.
Jen's calling you Tom. Steph is calling. Is it you she's calling you Timothy or?
Tomothy,
I know there's another Tom in there.
Yeah,
Tom, not Tom.
Yeah. So I get Tom, Tomothy, Timor, Chad, but we don't talk about Chad. Any variation that you could put Tom in front of, somebody in one of these lives has called me that. So.
All right. So the first book you wrote, what was the title to that book?
Is it okay if I show it?
Yeah, go for it.
Sweet. So the first one was Still I Stand, the Semideus Chronicles. That's book number 1. It's kind of about a guy named Derek who discovers magic in different realms and dimensions. He goes on an adventure that's sort of like Percy Jackson meets the Chronicles of Narnia. But that was the debut novel. That was the one that kind of started this whole adventure.
So what gave you the idea to write this book? What really inspired you to write this?
That's a cheesy answer. Have you ever watched One Tree Hill?
I've tried.
Okay. So me and my wife were really, really into One Tree Hill, and one of the main characters in that show, he ends up writing a book. And I jokingly said, "Hey, if he could do it, I bet I could write a book." And she just laughed at me. It was like, "No, you can't." She didn't think I was being serious, but I was.
Mm-hmm.
So I started then. And I had no idea what I was going to write about. I just started writing like weird little snippets. Like I used to own a vape shop. So I was like, well, maybe I'll write like a self-help book, like a instructional how-to manual or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh, no, you know what? I really like Percy Jackson. Let me try something with that. And nothing was sticking.
Right.
So I was like, forget this, and gave up on it for about a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had this weird dream. And I know that's cliche as all get out. But this weird dream that had nothing to do with like the story itself, but of like the land that the story takes place in.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was walking through this big rolling field, and there's these like mythological creatures around. I'm like, dude, this is really cool. I want to live here. And I remember thinking that in the dream, and then I woke up and I tried to go back to sleep so I could get back to the dream. I don't know if you've ever done that or not, but like,
yeah.
I want more of that dream. So I tried to go back and I couldn't. So I just sat down the next and kind of brainstormed, and that's what birthed the story and the realm that all this takes place.
All right. So if you could describe Still I Stand in one sentence to hook your new readers to, what would it be?
Now you're putting me on the spot.
Right.
Wow. Trying to think of how to condense it to one sentence. Let's see. Whew. That's rough, man. You done stumped me on that. I always go back to Percy Jackson, of course, because that's kind of like that was my favorite book growing up. So Percy Jackson did play a lot into this, but maybe something along the lines of a fantasy world where the popular jock who doesn't feel popular gets to be himself.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of go with something like that.
All right. So describe the character Derek in your book. What type of struggles he goes through throughout the whole book, basically, without giving any spoilers, because I want people to get your book and read it and stuff.
For sure. So Derek, I'll just kind of speak to the front end of the book here. Like whenever they first open it up, they're going to learn that Derek should be the popular kid, right? He should be. He's popular in high school. He plays for the baseball team. He's got all the friends. He has everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he still feels like he doesn't fit in. Like he's got this weird nagging thing in the back of his mind that, I don't belong here. This isn't for me. So you see him struggle a lot with anxiety and panic attacks as you go throughout the book.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, without spoiling too much more, that's kind of his core internal struggle, is that anxiety and that panic.
Oh, okay. All right. And this is more like a fantasy book that you wrote. How would you describe the world building while writing this book?
Like as far as how grand it is, or
Yeah, yeah.
So one of the big things that was important to me, because like I got out of reading for a long time. So
Hmm.
whenever I got back into reading, into writing, I wanted something that when you read through it, it's easy enough to understand for somebody that's new to fantasy.
Hmm.
But it's not so like watered down that, you know, connoisseurs of fantasy couldn't get into it as well.
Right.
So I would say there is quite a bit of world building in here, but I tried to keep it very simple and introduce it slowly, not like a lore dump or everything all at once, or not everything on the front end and then you're wide open in the back.
Right.
That's kind of built brick by brick as you go through it. That way it's not, hey, here you go, you got to remember all this for the whole book.
All right. Was there any part or any element of this book that was like you having trouble writing about, or try having trouble describing to the reader?
Yes, one thing that I didn't realize was going to be as hard to write was like the actual like fight scenes.
Hmm.
So I never took like karate. I never really got into like learning how to actually wield a sword or anything like that. So whenever I started researching, like, okay, so if this person has magic, I feel like they would move kind of fluidly, something like Avatar, you know, The Last Airbender or something. So I watched a lot of Avatar and tried to describe what I was seeing on scenes there. I did a lot of research that my FBI agent that watches in my phone probably he's probably like, "What are you doing, my guy?" Just had to text him a couple times. You know, hey, it's just a book. It's just a book. It's fine. But yeah, so that was probably the hardest thing to figure out how to write was the actual like action sequences.
Hmm.
Because I had no idea going in. I didn't know how to write anything in a book, but let alone like describing action and it make sense as you read it back and like, okay, I can see this. I can visualize the fight going on.
All right. Were there any mythical creatures or elements that you especially love creating in this book?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I kind of played. So have you ever heard of the video game Ark?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a game about like dinosaurs and mythical creatures, and it's like a survival based game.
Hmm.
And one of my favorite dinosaurs or mounts that you can tame in that game is a griffin. It's like I knew I
Hmm.
wanted a griffin in this book, right? But I wanted to do something a little different with griffins. It's not like, oh yeah, they're this flying eagle-headed lion, right? That's what everybody sees. So
Right.
I'm not going to spoil what it is, but that was definitely fun to come up with like a reason to why they are this way, and why they adapted this way.
Which other than the griffin, is there any other mythical creatures in the book?
There's quite a few actually, but you don't get to see a whole lot of them outside of like
Hmm.
not humanoid esque creatures like fae, orcs. You're going to see that a lot. The griffin is in book one, but a
Hmm.
lot more come into book two as the world starts to expand a little bit and they kind of get out of their little bubble.
All right. With books coming out, well, with movies coming out based on book, would you envision your book as a movie? Because you've seen like The Housemaid and every other book movie come out.
Man, I would absolutely love it. It would be
Yeah.
amazing. That's like a fever dream almost. Like if that was to ever happen, that would be awesome, like hands down.
Hmm.
I don't know that I would want it to be like a movie because I feel like every author would probably answer this the same way too, though. I'd want a
Hmm.
TV show so you have time to, you know, play in the material.
Right.
But I'm also probably on the opposite side of like at least more well-known authors. I've noticed like, you know, Matt Dinniman, Pierce Brown, all these guys that are and gals that are getting like movie and TV show deals. They're talking about like doing everything live action, live action, live action. And I
Hmm.
love a good live action interpretation, but I would want this to be animated. I feel like you can bring a lot more to the characters when it's animated.
Hmm.
You can do a lot cooler stuff when it's animated and not come across too cheesy. So once again, like back to Avatar: The Last Airbender, if I could get a deal with like an animation studio that could make it look like Avatar, like that style of animation, oh,
Yeah.
I'd be on board hands down.
Who will be the lead voice actor if you had to choose anybody to
A lead
be?
a lead voice actor for Derek.
Yeah, for
The narrator for book one, his name is Zachary Holzberg.
Yeah.
I'll tell you when I auditioned people for this book to do the narration, I had 57 auditions I went through.
Oh wow.
About 20 of them were just like AI folks that like didn't even do my script that I submitted. They just submitted like an AI voice reel. But the
Yeah.
other 30 to 40 that I went through, they were all really, really good. But Zachary was the first one to audition.
Hmm.
And I compared every other person to him. Like his voice for Derek alone was just so spot on. He had that like that quiver in his voice when he would talk, you know, that makes you sound
Hmm.
like the anxious teenager, you know, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
So I kept comparing everybody to him and I had to go back to him. So if I was given the opportunity to say, hey, pick anybody you want, I would go straight to him. Now, there's another character that they'll meet in the book if they read it. Idris Alba for him, 1,000%. His name is Taku Hall, but I would want Idris Elba to voice him 1,000%.
I mean, who else? Idris Elba. Come on.
But his voice is like buttery smooth, like it's amazing.
So, how much emotion is in this book? I know this is the first one, but how much emotion does the character have within throughout this whole story? Does he go into like self-doubt? Does he like is he like always an angry character throughout the book, or how is he?
Yeah, so he's not really an angry character. It's
Hmm.
more, it all ties back to that panic. And I know panic and anxiety can represent itself in like numerous different ways.
Right.
For him, it does go more into that self-doubt kind of section. He doesn't feel like, at first, he doesn't feel like he belongs where he's at. And that kind of transforms and changes into more of a, I don't deserve this kind of thing. And that's why one of the big themes in the book is friendship. And found like friendship and found family, because they kind of have to help pull him out of that. You know what I mean? They've got to surround him and show him, hey, it's okay. We're here. We got this. It's all good.
Okay. Would the reader say if I would pick up this book, read it, would I find some elements that would reflect to me as the reader? Speaking
I feel
about,
like you would.
yeah.
And I feel like almost anybody could probably draw a parallel to at least one of the POV characters. So, of course,
Hmm.
Derek is our main POV. He's who we follow for most of the story.
Right.
But some of the side characters got their time to shine, and I've noticed like one in particular, Barry. He has been a fan favorite so far since the book released. I didn't think Barry was going to be a fan favorite, but
Hmm.
dear Lord, the readers love him. But I see why too, because a lot of people draw more. If you didn't suffer with like anxiety or depression or panic attacks, you're probably not going to draw from Derek as much. But I don't want to spoil that part, but if
Right.
you, go along more with Barry, you're going to pull
Hmm.
from him. Then there's another POV character named Jonathan.
Hmm.
People are going to resonate with him, and even the side characters too. Like I tried to not have that like NPC syndrome where somebody's just there for the sake of being there.
Hmm.
I wanted if I was going to write about them and more than a sentence about them, I wanted it to be something that somebody might connect to. So I
Hmm.
definitely feel like no matter who's reading it, you'll find somebody that you can connect to. Unless you're just, soulless. I can't help you if you're soulless, but
So are we gonna get like a spin-off book for that favorite character?
might have something in the works. So I will say, like I said, that's book one. And going into book two, I'd already published book one, and it was out, and I was like, I'm going to take a break because that took a lot from me writing book one. I've
Yeah.
never done anything like that before. So I was like, okay, let me step away. So I started, marketing it on TikTok and
Hmm.
Facebook and all that. That's whenever I'd met Jen, and I really have to thank her quite a bit because whenever she read my book, she told everybody about it, and it kind of blew up from there. But because of their response and what people were telling me, Barry actually got a much larger role in book two because everybody loved him so much. I was like, okay, well, if you love him that much, let me give you a little bit more and see if you still like him. And then after they read book
Hmm.
two, like, okay, we need more. So as I'm writing book three again, Barry has kind of got more of a presence in the story. Derek is by far still our main character,
Right.
but Barry does play a very large role. He played a decent role in book one, but going into
Hmm.
book two and now into book three, things really turned up for him. So yeah, I could definitely see, something happening. Again, I'm just finishing book three, and I'm sitting here
Right.
thinking of how it ends. I'm like, yeah, no, we could possibly do something with that.
Hey, if the readers love Barry, I mean, why not? You
Right,
know?
right.
So, what inspired you to come up with the titles? How would you pronounce it? The
The Semideus Chronicles,
Semideus Chronicles. What
for sure.
inspired you to name the book that? And
So like just to start like with the actuals, I was like, Still I Stand is book one, Until I Fall is book two.
Mhm.
I've already told people, so I don't mind saying it on here as well. The
Right.
Lonesome Call is book three. Once again, avoiding spoilers, I had no idea what I was going to name these books. It actually started as a Whole New World was the working title when I was writing it. Yeah, I realize now why that would have been bad.
Right.
But there was a line that I wrote in the book that these Fey warriors say to each other, and it's Still I stand until I fall. I will heed the lonesome call. And I was like, wait, that's three lines. I'm doing three books. Let's rock that. And then as far as like the Semideus Chronicles goes,
Hmm.
there is a lot of Latin and Greek inspiration in book one. Well, mainly Latin in book one, and then Greek comes in book two. But so Latin, Semideus or Deus literally means demigod. So once again, pulling inspiration from like Percy Jackson.
Hmm.
There's a lot of Greek mythology, a little bit of Latin mythology like tied in here. So it's like demigod fits for what the story that I'm working towards. So we went with Semideus and just kind of rolled from there.
All right. So would for me, I would call this like it's a fantasy. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's a fantasy book.
Oh yeah.
Would it be like historical fiction or some,
Uh,
or is it just like
I wouldn't say
fantasy?
historical fiction. I know like the main term that
Right.
everything I see goes by is like portal fantasy.
Yeah, yeah.
So like it takes place. The beginning of the book is in modern day United States.
Hmm.
So you kind of start there, and then like if you think again back to Percy Jackson, they have the Camp Half Blood they go to, which is basically like a portal that takes them to the other world.
Hmm.
Same thing with Chronicles of Narnia. They open up the wardrobe, go into another world. So the
Hmm.
same kind of thinking there. Something happens and they find a new world, which is where the rest of the story takes place. But yeah, portal fantasy, and then it would be. I've heard the term like urban fantasy too, but that usually plays more into like something like Harry Potter, where it's actually
Right.
happening in the real world.
Oh, okay. Wow. I never thought of it that way. Mm, I just started reading when I got with when I met my wife. She's a big avid book reader. And she's like, "Why don't you just sit down and read a book?" I'm like, "I don't read. I don't like reading." Until one day I went to a farmer's market and picked up a Stephen King's book out of everything. That guy could write. Not because he writes well, is that he writes for no reason. And there's like
Right.
chapters that are not needed. But it was fairy tale. I don't know if you ever read that
I
book,
haven't read
but
it, but I know what it is though. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
it's a really well written book, but for some reason they haven't made it into the movie yet, but whatever. Um, so have you ever had a love to just read books, or did you like start reading and fall off, then pick it back up?
Yeah, so I did like elementary school, middle school, high school. I did enjoy reading quite a bit, but as I got in like my late into junior year, into senior year, girls hanging out with friends,
Right.
partying, that was more my style at that time. So I kind of got out of that. And then after I graduated, I went straight into work, doing like cable installs, things like that, door to door sales, anything I could do to make money. I
Right.
wasn't worried about reading no books. So I did fall off for quite some time. And as I got back into reading is like right around, A Court of Thorns and Roses was big. Fourth Wing was getting big. I just read, Red Rising last year. So I went from reading all the time in school to nothing and to now, like last year I think I read about 30 books for the year.
Hmm.
This year I'm already at like 19, so like I'm speeding up as I go. I can't stop at this point. So yeah, I definitely fell off, and it was a hard fall off for a really long time. My wife says it all the time. She's like, you went from never reading to now we have to have a whole bookshelf just so you can have your pretty little book trophies over here and then your books on this side. And she's the same way. She doesn't really care to read too much. She
Right.
supports everything I do, but she's like, when they make yours a movie is when I will enjoy all of it. She said, unless you want to read to me in bed, I'll be okay.
I get yelled at for getting a hardcover book
Yeah. Yep.
or the special edition one.
Yep.
Comes to mind. I need to get the special edition of those Light Out series book.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I just got sucked into one, so now I gotta
So
finish it.
my wife yells at me for having, too many, not necessarily special issues, but just the hardcovers in general. It's
Yeah,
like paperbacks are so much cheaper. She does all this. I mean, now my birthday is Sunday, April 5th.
yeah.
And she told me last night, she's like, well, I was going to try to like surprise you, but I couldn't print it off at work. But just so
Hmm.
you know, the Red Rising artist edition that just released, I pre-ordered it for you. I was like, you get mad at me for about a hardcover and you go out and buy me an artist edition. I mean, thank you so much. I love you dearly. And that is amazing. I will cherish that book. But
I mean, it's an expensive hobby, but a hobby nonetheless.
that's true. That's true. It could be worse. It could be worse.
It could be worse, Let's not talk about stuff that I have, but um. So, have you ever thought about being an author for a long time, or is this just one of these? Let me just try it out and see how it goes.
No, it was definitely a let me try it out and see how it goes. And in all honesty, I didn't even think I was going to publish it when I was writing it. Book one took about 4 years
Hmm.
from that very first, idea. And that was with a lot of starting and stopping and just completely forgetting about it and then going back and jumping back in. It took about 4 years total. And my idea was I'm just going to, I'll try to get a couple printed or something. And, my sister likes to read. I'll see if she likes it. What does she think? And my aunt likes to read. I'll try it, let her take a stab at it. And they loved it. So they convinced me, to actually make a go out of it. And I did have a little bit of a following on TikTok before
Hmm.
any of this started. So I was like, well, maybe I can leverage, the TikTok sphere into this. I couldn't at all. Literally, until I met Jen and that whole group of book talk, like that section of book
Right.
talk, that's when things started really, really working for me. But yeah, no, it was definitely just let me give it a shot. Let's see what happens, kind of thing. I know, and I know some people are going to be upset, like, no, you're supposed to be a lifelong writer. Like, no, I'll tell you right now, man. I'd get home from work, I'd hang out with the wife, I'd play video games, watch a movie or something, and go to bed. And now
Yeah.
all that's different, which of course I have a son now. So it's come
Yeah.
home, family time, watch a little bit of TV with the wife, and then write. And every so often I'll get on and play games with the guys. But
Hmm.
I'll be like, all right, guys, I got to write a little bit tonight. Let me hop off here. So it's definitely shifted my mentality completely as I, stepped into this space.
Right. So what is the hardest part of being an author? Is it the coming up with an idea, or writing it, editing it, or like pushing it out? Which part?
Marketing 1000%. it's
Yeah.
it's it's a drain because for one, it's not really that rewarding, right?
Right.
So everybody's time is worth something, right? It don't matter what you do. Like your time right now talking to me is worth something. If you didn't find value in this, you wouldn't do it.
Right.
So when it comes to marketing, it's very, very hit or miss. And one of the things that I really wanted to try to do, I've stuck to so far, is I want to spend $0 on marketing until all three books are published and out there for everybody. Then I'll think about spending like ad spend or something like that. But so far, everything has been completely organic as much as I can do. And it has slumped quite a bit here and there. It's like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
But nobody really prepares you for that. And, one week I'll have my videos on TikTok and Instagram and everything going off, and people are commenting on it and talking about it and saying, hey, I'm checking out your book, or hey, on payday, I'm getting your book. And then on payday, I start seeing orders come through. So I'm like, okay, we're doing good. And then
Hmm.
you go for 3 months without a single sale. And you're still doing all the same thing. You're just taking the time out of the day to make videos.
Hmm.
You're putting on the smiling face and trying to show everybody, hey, I love marketing. And no, I don't.
No. Oh no. It's the worst
Yeah,
thing.
it's horrible. It's horrible.
So when your third book comes out, I'm assuming maybe end of the year, next year, maybe. I don't know
I'm
what
hoping,
time.
and anybody that's watching this, don't
Yeah.
hold me to this, okay? I'm hoping to have it released sometime in July. A big part of that is going to be the editing phase.
Hmm.
I don't know what's going on with my editing stuff right now. My editor for book one, this is always a fun story. My
Yeah.
editor for book one, she did a really good job, and then she ghosted me when we were talking about book two. Like we're getting all the details set out, and then just nothing. Like heard nothing from her. So I had to find a new editor, which is if you don't know, it's hard to do when you already had one editor on the first book. Now a new editor has to come in on the second book and try to keep the same style going as far as edits go.
Mm,
Of course, they're all trying to maintain, the author's voice, but they're still going to have their own style and way they do things. But
right.
she did such an amazing job with book two. I really wanted to go with her for book three, but great for her. But unfortunately for me, she's in much more high demand now. Her price has gone way, way up to secure your spot, and I don't know if like financially it makes sense for me to try to pay that amount.
Hmm.
And I've told everybody since I started writing, I don't care if I ever make $1 from this, but I want them to at least pay for themselves, right?
Yeah.
And at the price that I'm looking at right now, I don't know that book three would ever pay for itself. So I'm like, maybe I need to find a new editor. So
Hmm.
with that being said, that's the one thing that might push me a little later into the year if I have trouble finding a new editor or working something out with my current editor, that might push my release farther back.
Okay. Wow. I never wrote a book. I didn't know it took that much just to get a single book out. That's
Oh
insane.
yeah.
The amount. I mean, I'm sitting here editing stuff and like taking so long. Maybe I should pay someone to do it for me. But
Don't.
wow. No.
If I could edit myself, I 100% would.
Yeah.
But as far as like talking about the price to just get a book out too, I got super lucky with mine because I actually had a friend of mine from the old days on TikTok. She's a character artist, and she had just posted about taking like new commissions for character art. I was
Hmm.
like, hey, I'm doing this book thing. Would you ever want to try doing a book cover? And she's
Hmm.
like, yeah, sure, awesome. So she did the art for book one, book two, and she's doing it for book three. And she has given me a crazy deal. Like I've been super blessed on the cover side, but covers normally they run a pretty penny. So especially like a fully illustrated cover. If you just do like stock art or something, it's a little bit on the more affordable side. But as far
Hmm.
as having her hand draw everything, like I would not get that price with anyone else. And I've told her that a million times. Like, you just tell me when I need to pay you a little more because I appreciate you. She's like, nope,
Right.
you're good. This is awesome. I'm learning.
So for her to do the cover art, did you describe or did you write down how Derek looks like and what the whole situation is, and then she got inspiration from that, or how was the
Yeah,
whole
so
process?
with book one, I actually tried to be pretty detailed with it. I was like, hey, I want like Derek standing on this cliff and he's looking up at the enemy, and it's gonna be like this big like shadow demon thing, like looking down at him. And she's like, well, do you want Derek's face? I was like, no, I don't want anything like facial feature wise on it on the front. So she's like, well, what about like from the back, like looking up? I'm like, yeah, that's perfect. And that's what she came up with, and I was blown away by it.
Hmm.
And then for book two, I let go of the reins. I was like, okay. So, and I knew she had read book one as well because she was like, I read it twice. It was so good. I was like, awesome, thank you. But I was like, so how book one ends. This is kind of the gist of what book two is going to be, just kind of like an overall synopsis. I know I want the color to be blue, and I know I want lightning somewhere in it.
Hmm.
Other than that, you do whatever you want to do, and I will approve or deny it. But most likely, I'm just going to say, yep, that's awesome. And when I got the proof for book two, I was like, well, can I say a bad
Yeah,
word? Is that
yeah. Go
okay?
ahead, say
I was
whatever
like,
you want.
holy shit. Like that. I mean, it completely, but it's going to be blurry because my background here. There we go. I mean, the clouds with the lightning bolts coming down. We still
That's
have Derek on
amazing.
the same cliff right here, but now
Hmm.
he's kind of like reaching down over it. It just, I was amazed. Like there ain't no way. And I would be lying if I didn't say she did it again with book three. And I can't show you that yet. But when I get to release the image for book three, you guys are going to be like,
Yeah.
how? Like what? How do you even go from that to that to that? And it just keeps getting better each time.
Does 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 she keep the mystery of how he looks like on the cover? Because I see book
Yes, yeah,
one,
yeah.
so there's no facial features,
No
nothing.
facial features. Nope. Yeah. Now I do
That's
have character art of Derek that if anybody ever purchases a book box from you get character art of Derek. But it's
mhm,
kind of like I wanted it to be like your high school pictures, right? So like they're
right.
all the character art I have, even the ones of like the Fae, they're all in
Hmm.
like this high school picture, like framed in a pose. So it's like they took their senior pictures or something.
Yeah.
Just to try to keep it young and fun. But I'm also like I'm kind of indifferent on character art. Like when I'm reading, I like to imagine what the characters look like. So I understand when people are like, "Well, I don't want to see the character art at all. I don't want to know what you think they look like. I want to draw my own conclusions." And I'm perfectly fine with that. So I wanted to leave it as far as the covers go. I wanted it to be ambiguous enough that not ambiguous, anonymous enough that it wasn't like, oh, he has to look like that now. You know what I mean?
Right. So in the future, when all three books are out, are you thinking about doing like a special edition type book, which probably going to cost you pretty penny to
Who
get?
who's been giving you information now?
It
So
was Jen. Jen told me
it,
everything.
probably. So we can announce this here actually if you're cool with it.
Yeah,
Which I'll make a post at some point. I don't know when this will actually air, but
I'll wait
uh,
until
I,
you put your post up, then
oh,
I'll
you're
know.
good. You can
Yeah.
be the one to break it. It don't matter. It's not that big of news. It's cool to
Yeah.
me. I don't know if it's gonna be cool to everybody else, but
Mhm.
so there's an audio book for book one, of course.
Right.
I haven't got one for book two or book three yet. And once again, financial reasons, I need to make money from the books before I can put more money into them.
Right.
But the way I'm planning on helping fund that is since I've already written three books, I'm going to put them all together in one big omnibus, and
Hmm.
I'm going to do like the full shebang special edition. I want the foiled edges, I want sprayed edges, the color in papers on both sides, the
Hmm.
little ribbon tassel bookmark, the whole 9 yards, right?
Yeah.
I want to do it all. And I plan to try to launch that on Kickstarter, and then any funds we make from Kickstarter will go directly into paying the audiobook narrator.
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of my big goal to get the audio out, and everybody that's been saying, hey, we would like a special edition. That's going to be the way to get it, and they'll be able to get all three books in one big old binding. So
Okay. All right. Have you? I know you've told me that you go into what these author conventions or book conventions. How many of those have you done trying to push out your book?
So I've done as far as like what I've done so far. When book one first released, like on release day,
Hmm.
there's a thing here close to me called the Bell Buckle Craft Fair. It's
Hmm.
like a town of 2,000 people.
Hmm.
And when they do the craft fair, there's like 50,000 people there. So I set up for that for the release of book one. Did fairly well, but it was mostly like people I knew, coming to that.
Right.
So I didn't have a whole lot of success there. Then there was a
Hmm.
bookshop that did like an indie author day
Hmm.
down the road from me. So I went to that. I did pretty well at that. And then I've done two library events at another town over from me.
Hmm.
And I plan to go to that every year because for one, it's a free event. And for
Right.
two, the people are really great. And, just getting to talk to people when you don't have to pay anything to be there, networking is amazing, right? I meet so many people that are all from like around my area. That are in the publishing or writing or narrating sphere. But my first actual book convention that I'll be a part of is going to be April 18th and 19th of this year, and that's in Smyrna, Tennessee.
Hmm.
That'll be the first time like that I'm actually at a convention setting, and I thought it was going to be smaller when I was like first signing up. I was like, oh, this will
Right.
be a good one to like cut my teeth on, get my foot
Hmm.
in the door, and then whenever I got the approval message and I start going through the list of all the authors and narrators and vendors that are going to be there, there's like over 50 of us. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is no small thing. No wonder it's a 2 day event. And then she reaches out, she's like, hey, can you be on a couple panels? And I'm like, you want me to talk to people? Like, I can do digital. Can we do digital panels? She's like, no, we need people on panels. I'm like, okay, you know what? Throw the towel and put me in, coach. Let's do it. Let's see what happens. So that's my first, big one.
Hmm.
And then I'll be at Rebels and Realms in Arkansas in
Hmm.
July. I think it's the 17th through the 19th. I could be wrong on those dates, but that one's even bigger. Like that's over 150 authors, vendors, and narrators. It's a massive event, so I'm super duper nervous about that one. But I will get to meet one of the indie authors that I've taken a lot of inspiration from, ZS Diamante.
That's
He's going to be
awesome.
set up there, so I'm going to get to go meet him hopefully.
Hmm.
And then the last event that I'm looking at for this year is back in Nashville, and it's another very very large event. It's called the Southern Festival of Books, and there's like, I mean, they it's all of the northern side of Nashville gets turned into like this book convention.
Hmm.
It's spread out. You got like walk through it, find vendors wherever you can, that kind of thing. I have not been approved for that one yet, which honestly they haven't even released the sign up form for it yet.
Right.
So I don't know if that one's set in stone just yet or
Hmm.
not, but I'm planning to hopefully be at that one as well.
All right. There's also I don't know if there's Fan Expo down in your area, but we have one up here in Boston.
Mhm.
There's, TV, movies, books, comics, they do all that stuff there. And I don't know, probably a thought that you want to do. And I don't know if I know they do fan expos around the country, but I'm not quite sure which one is around your area. But there's been a couple of authors there. My wife actually got Bloodborne from the author there, and this other ADHD book, like time management something. It's
Yeah,
about a little
yeah.
dinosaur procrastinating and stuff. So I don't know, probably a thought in the future. But yeah, no, you'll do great in those conventions, especially
I
panels.
hope
You're gonna
so.
have fun with people asking you questions. It's a
Yeah.
blast. It's really fun. So if you want to send me those dates, I'll put it in the
Yeah.
bio in the short clips too. So are you thinking about when you're done with the series, or if you're going to continue on with the series? Do you have any other ideas or any other books that you want to write about other than fantasy, or you want to dabble into like different genres?
So I don't know so much about like a full genre jump. I know there's
Hmm.
been like jokes on TikTok of me writing like a cowboy romance on Mars or something like. I don't know that that's something I want to attempt right now.
Right.
I do know what my next story is going to be.
Hmm.
I'm super excited to start writing on it. I actually started storyboarding it a couple months ago. I'm
Hmm.
trying to like lay out, a very, very rough outline of how things are going to go.
Hmm.
So I'm super excited to walk into that. One thing I'll say is I want to do these in like trilogies, and I'm probably a bad author for this. I don't know what you call a 5 book series, but I want like everything to either be a 3 book series or a 5 book series, and I want them all to connect somehow. That doesn't mean you have to read, the Semideus Chronicles to understand the next set series I'm going to write. But
Yeah.
if you did read the Semideus Chronicles, you're going to pick up on a few things, in the
Hmm.
next series. So kind of think like Sarah J. Moss, that universe. You don't have to read them, but they all connect somehow. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So that's kind of my overarching plan. And then if I ever did branch out of the fantasy area, I'd probably want to take an attempt at like sci-fi or something, along those lines. I know it's the running joke that I'm going to write romance. I'm probably never going to write romance. Okay. There's a little bit of romance in my books, right?
Right.
And I'm fine writing that kind of stuff. I don't think I could keep anybody interested for 400 pages, 500 pages of my romance writing. Okay.
Hey, put out a feeler. Do like I don't know, 3-page romance book thing. I
So
don't know.
I have to deliver on a spicy chapter set in this world, in the Semideus Chronicles world.
There you
When
go.
I did book two's release, I did like an all day live on TikTok. And
Right.
I said, anybody that joins the live and they drink a hot Dr. Pepper, which I don't know if you ever had hot Dr. Pepper or not.
Now
And I
I
don't mean like warm, I mean like hot chocolate temperature hot Dr. Pepper. It's amazing. I was like, if you guys will come up, because everybody was giving me crap for it. I'm like, it used to be like a thing they advertised. Nobody believed me. So
Yeah.
I was showing the clips and everything of the advertising. Like anybody that joins the live and drinks
Mhm.
this, I will write a spicy chapter set in this world, and you'll get it like exclusively on a PDF. And like, okay, so I had like 6 people join and warm up the Dr. Pepper, get it at temperature, and drink it. So I do have to deliver on that. So maybe if they're like, oh, this just blew my mind, hands down, this is amazing, I might try taking a stab at like a novella or something. But I don't know. It just romance. I don't mind reading romance. I'll read it all day long. But
Right.
I don't know that I'm comfortable writing it, if that makes sense.
Huh? Put a little novella between book 2 and book 3. You never
Yeah.
know. Or the last chapter or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining. It's been so much fun talking about your book and writing and stuff. So the people who are watching, if you want to put out your handle, where they could find you, if you're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
I've got to pull up my handle because I don't know. So my biggest following is on TikTok. That's where I post most of my updates and everything, and that's just at t.m.ford. Same thing on Instagram, but there's an underscore after the second period there, so t.m._ford. Instagram wouldn't let me have the other one. They were being mean about it. So those are the 2 best places to get updates. Or you can just follow along on my website and newsletter at tmford.com.
All right. Well, again, thank you. Can't wait for the 3rd book to come out. Definitely pick up book 1 and book 2. Read them.
Oh yeah.
I'm a go with that. And it's not in depth, immersive reading. So
Yeah.
I need to get the audio of the book and read along. Once I did that, I never looked back.
You're right. I don't blame you. It's a great way to read. So.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining, and hopefully we can do this again.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, man.